Abe, my
Yes, sir.
friend, welcome to the call. I'm super excited. I know all of our students are very excited to learn as much as they possibly can from you today. So I cannot thank you enough for doing this for this group, because I know we've got a strong group of agents that are super committed to reaching high levels of success in this business. And I can't, there's only a couple people I can think of to bring into a group like this that have had the success that you've had. So I want to thank you for taking the time to do this with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Number one, you're a great coach. So anything I can do to help you out, I'm more than glad to. And number two, would love to help all you folks out there as well. So any questions that you have, shoot.
Awesome. So how this is going to go today, you guys, is I've got a series of questions that I'm going to ask Abe that we're going to go through that will help you guys learn how Abe got to the point where he's doing 100+ transactions per year. And then after those questions, you guys submitted a bunch that you want me to ask Abe at the end, that I'm going to go through as many of those as we possibly can with the time that we have with Abe today. So if I'm sitting in your shoes, you're going to learn from a guy that, how long have you been in the business, Abe?
This is my fifth year.
He's been in the business 5 years. And how many deals will you do this year, Abe?
Between 130 and 140.
All right. So if I'm you guys, I'm writing down almost verbatim everything this guy has to offer. 5 years in the business, 130 to 140 deals. How many of those are going to be listings versus buyers, Abe?
Out of 140, 100 will be listings and 40 will be buyers.
Very, very good. So
Maybe
that's
110 listings, somewhere in that range.
perfect. All right. So let's jump right into this. And so how are you structured? You have an assistant, and then you have someone that works with your buyer clients. Is that correct?
Yes, it's me. I have one buyer's agent because I don't work any buyers. I'm lying. I'm working one buyer because it's my cousin. So I don't typically work buyers. And I told him that I'm not showing you more than 5 homes. So you better weed out the ones you want. And that's it. So I work strictly sellers, and she does all the buyers. I handle all the buyer deals. I've got a full-time admin here in the US that's in my office. And I have 3 full-time virtual assistants in the Philippines. And that's my team.
Got it. I love it. But Abe, I mean, you don't work with buyers at all. I mean, a lot of agents have a tough time with that because they think to themselves, well, if I got this great buyer, certainly I'm going to take the buyer opportunity. What would your piece of advice be to an agent that struggles with, they got to take everything that comes in right now, Abe, because there's not a lot coming in right now. So if it's a buyer, I'm going to go show them houses. And a lot of people have that wrong mindset, the scarcity mindset. But what would you tell somebody that wants to be a listing agent?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can respect that. Yeah, it's not so much, I don't know if I would call it a wrong mindset. It depends on where they are in their business, right? So my first 3 months in the business, I worked buyers, right? Because I had nothing to do, right? So I made my prospecting calls in the morning. If I had a buyer appointment, I was going to go out there for 2 reasons. Reason number one, I needed the money or wanted the money. Reason number two, it was giving me more experience. So as a brand new agent, my recommendation would be get as much experience as possible, whether it's buyers, sellers, or whoever it may be. Just go out there and get the experience and then get the confidence. And as you close more and more deals, that confidence will come and it'll translate into your listing business. So yeah, if you're a new agent, go for it. But you've got to know upfront what you want your business to look like. So I knew going into the business, even though I've been in the business 5 years, I've known the owner of the company, Greg Harrelson. You know him. I've known him for 30 years. So him and I have had real estate conversations for a very long time, for 20 years or so. So I knew how the real estate business works. I knew that the moment I got in, before I got in, I knew that I wanted to be a listing agent up front. But I knew in order to get to that level, I had to get some deals under my belt. I had to get some experience and do whatever it took. So you've got to know, my advice would be just kind of know what you want your business to look like 5 years from now. If you want to be a listing agent, then yes, you want to minimize the number of buyers you work with from day one, because it's going to free you up to make more calls and get more listings. So the more time you're going to spend on the phone, the quicker you're going to get to that level where you're just strictly a listing agent.
Love it.
That would be my advice.
That's great. Now, Abe, can you just really quickly walk us through your production trajectory, year 1, year 2, year 3. Kind of walk us through what that looked like.
Yeah, so year 1, I did 42 deals. Year 2, I did 71 deals. Year 3 was 112. Last year was 117. And then this year it'll be, I think it's going to be 140, but somewhere between 130 and 140.
It's phenomenal. I mean, that type of growth is so rare. And so we're going to talk through kind of a little bit more in details about how that happened. I only have a quick question about that first year of the 42 sales that you made your first year in the business. How long was it before you got your first listing sold, so that you can give people perspective of the work you did and that we're in a 90-day lag business, and so people can understand that?
Yeah, so I got lucky. I actually got a closed deal real quick. And I remember I was prospecting, so I got someone on the phone that all of a sudden they were like, "Yeah, I'm interested." I was like, I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. So I tapped one of my coworkers who's had a lot more experience. I was like, "Dude, you got to take over," because I was like maybe a week or 10 days into the business. So he took over, got the listing for me, and I turned around and sold fairly quickly. So I think within 45 days I had my first check. But that's not normal. So take that one out of the equation. It was a struggle. My first year, I made 12,000 contacts.
Wow.
So
how many contacts your first year?
12,000. So it was, I took a beating. There was a lot of no's to do 12,000 contacts, to do 42 deals. I mean, do the math. A lot of that was learning. A lot of that was taking the beating and knowing what to say or what not to say, learning the objections, getting comfortable, getting more confidence in the conversation. So there was a lot of that going on the first 3 to 5 months, and it was tough. It's not easy making that many calls and getting that much rejection. I personally was not used to that kind of rejection.
And would you say, Abe, that because you made 12,000 contacts and 11,958 people told you to kick rocks, was that the reason that got you good on the phone, that got you confident, that put you in a position to build this massive business that you have today versus not making the contacts and trying to learn without doing any of the work?
You're not going to learn without doing the work. It's just not going to happen. Now, I was doing, I can't remember the math. I think it was 60 contacts per day is what I was averaging. So now the average agent is doing less than contacts a day. So do the math on that. I got 6 years worth of experience in my first year of business.
Did everybody catch that? Say that. So 60 contacts a day, and you said about 5-6 years worth of work your first year in real estate.
My first year, yeah. And that's what kind of put my career in hyper boost at that point, because there was just so much I absorbed that first year, and so many conversations that I had. It was literally like being in the business 5 or 6 years.
Now, how did you force yourself to do that every day, getting rejection, feeling very uncomfortable, not getting the results right away? How were you able to push through? Because a lot of people, whether they be in this group or another group, I mean, they're having a tough time making calls, period, let alone getting to 50, 60 contacts a day. A lot of people don't make that in a month or a quarter. You were able to do that every day, day in and day out. How were you able to do that?
Because you got to want it, right? I mean, how bad do you want it? I mean, don't kid yourself. If you really don't want it, then just tell yourself, okay, I'm perfectly fine doing 3 deals or 4 deals a year, and then go make your 3, 4, 5 contacts a day. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And we've got 4,500 agents in this market. The average agent does 4.5 deals. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the worst thing you could do is lie to yourself. I mean, if you really want this, if you want to do the deals, it's there for the taking. It's a simple process. There is nothing to it. We have guys in our office that come in, brand new guys, that do it every single year, and very similar trajectory. Now, yes, 100, once you break 100, that puts you in a different category. But there's guys coming in doing 20 deals year 1, 40 deals year 2, up to 60 deals, because they come in, they're in the environment, they do the work, they put their head down and actually make the contacts because they want it. So the first thing I would say is really be true with yourself, and do you really want it? And if you are you willing to put in the work?
I
So
love it.
yes, it's tough. Taking that abuse is tough, but me sucking at something is a whole lot tougher. Right?
Mm,
I'm not going to do something I'm going to be shitty at, excuse my language, or be mediocre at. Right? I'm not going to do anything like that. Either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. So to me, that was my driving force. Okay, if I wasn't going to be one of the top agents in the market, then I'm not going to get into that industry. Plain and simple.
it's a great mindset. And quite frankly, a lot of my students here in the group, something I say all the time is the learning's in the doing, and you must do the work. And so, what are your sources of business, Abe? Well, how does that break down?
Right now, or how I started. I don't know where everybody's career is and how many deals they do on here. Is this mostly new people or in the industry, or is it?
All over the map. So I guess
Yeah.
let's break it
Year
down
one.
as what it looks like today.
Okay, so today, and I ran the numbers this morning. About 10% of my business comes from expireds. 25% of my business comes from database. 25% of my business comes from either past clients, referrals, or COI, SOI. And then 20% comes from referral services, like the Home Lights of the world, the Fast Experts, and things like that. And then the other 30% is just scattered all over the place.
Got it. And are you doing for sale by owners at all at this point?
I go back and forth. It's not one of my favorite things to do, and I know you probably don't want to hear that, but
That's okay.
I have, like, my database right now is close to 7,000 people. Like, I can literally just sit there and call my database day in and day out and have plenty of business to do. So it's easy for me to kind of be slack when it comes to these other pillars, but Frisbo's is a great pillar,
And I think that the clarification is when you say database, some agents will hear something. How did you get the 7,000 contacts, and how did you get to build that 7,000 person database? What were the sources that fed the database for you to get where you're at right now?
So here's the key thing for those of you out there that are really serious about having a career in this, okay, not a job, right? Because if you're going to run around chasing today deals, that's a job. Okay, but if you go into it smart from the beginning and want to build a business, what you want to do is every single person you talk to, you want to get their full contact information. Okay, because you're going to get a lot of no's, right? So my first year, those 12,000 contacts, I picked up 2,500 people in my database. So I knew in advance that I was going to monetize the no's, right? The no's to me weren't going to be a waste of time. Okay, so you're either going to sell today. If you're not going to sell, guess what? I'm going to monetize you at some point because you're going into my database. And then some point down the road, you're going to turn into a deal for me. And now it's starting to pay off, right? Because now these people are calling me. As a matter of fact, I just got off the phone from someone that's been in my database for a year and a half. And she just called me and says, "Hey, I'm ready to sell." Right?
And so, and that's what today's webinar training, you guys, is all about. And we're going to get into that process here in just a second. So today's webinar training is really about lead follow-up and the manifestation of a database. Every single one of you guys have had your broker or somebody at your company tell you the importance of building a database. Every single one of you has heard that. By a raise of hands, do you all agree? Say aye. It's been beaten into us our whole career. Now, Abe, my first question for you is, how many of your deals, the 140 this year, will come from people that you talked to one time versus people you've been nurturing from the database?
Yeah, it's rare that you're going to talk to somebody one time and list them. If you think that's going to happen, then good luck with that one. It's going to happen once in a while, and to me, that's a bonus, right? But I would say instead of thinking one time, I'm thinking, okay, short term, I talk to you within the next week or 10 days, I list you, right? If we talk about that percentage, it's probably 20% or less. The other majority, other 80% plus, is people that I'm having a follow up with. Okay, very few people are going to list with you after one conversation. It's rare. Now, as you build a database, that's going to happen more and more because that person, like she just called me back today, ready to list, right? That wasn't a one conversation. I've called her and I over a year and a half, probably spoke 30 times. Okay, she's been getting email drips from me nonstop. She's been getting market updates every single month from me. All kinds of different things that she's been getting, being dripped on for the last year and a half. And now she finally called me and she's ready to go.
Now, let me clarify something just so everyone got this. You're going to do about 100 listings sold, and then the rest are going to be buyers. Of the 100 listings sold, based on what you just said, 20% or 20 of those deals came from, let's just call it conversations, newer conversations, and 80 of the closings will come from people you talked to 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago that manifest into 80 closings this year. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Now, think about that, you guys. If Abe had no database or lead follow-up system, which we're about to get into, he would do 20 deals this year. And lo and behold, that's what most agents are doing. They're only focused on the now business. What Abe just said about 6 minutes ago is if you're going to build a long-term career, you have to monetize the people that tell you no today. That is the value in Abe's business. That certainly has been the value of my business. That's been my same exact story. That all the people that told me no, it's by asking some simple additional questions, getting in agreement to stay in contact with them over time, and lo and behold, your competition goes down, commissions go up, they're a much easier business to deal with down the road. Abe, would you agree with that statement versus banging your head against FSBOs and or expireds? Those 80s that came from your database probably were all come list me's. Is that fair?
Yeah, no question. Now ask me the big question. I made 12,000 contacts year one. Ask me how many I'm going to make this year.
Oh my gosh, watch this. How many contacts are you going to make this year, Abe?
I'm not even tracking contacts anymore. But if I was going to guess a number, it's somewhere in the range of 15 to 1,800 contacts.
Wow, for the year.
For the year.
Did you guys catch that? He went 12,000 probably. What did you do? Did that grow because you were going?
No, it went year after year. It went down. So year one was 12,000. Year two, I can't remember if it was 6,000 or 8,000. I want to say 8. Year three went to 4,000. Last year was maybe 25 or 3, somewhere in that range. And this year it's even less. And then that's not. I'm not saying that should be your plan, right? That's not what I'm suggesting. The whole point of bringing that up is, by building a business, you don't have to go out and grind every single day as much as you did in the beginning. So you're going to go in and grind initially, build that database, take all those no's, which you're going to get a lot of them, take all those no's, get them into your pipeline, get them into your database, and at some point they're going to start just popping out for you. So that allows you to have to make less contacts as you're in the business longer and longer.
Exactly right. Just got goosebumps. Remember, guys, activity times your skill over time equals your success. So what happened was, and Abe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you and I were, we've known each other for some years. Abe, you sucked in the beginning, right? Yeah. So Abe had to have a whole bunch of conversations in the beginning. Skill was very low. What happened over time is that seesaw went the other way around. Abe's skills right now is like a precision brain surgeon. His skills are incredible, and he's got tons of contacts in his database that are now manifesting into new business. Now, how do you define, Abe, somebody that's going to go into the database that you are going to follow up with? How does that occur?
Everybody I talk to has an email that I want to get and has a cell phone number that I want to get. So if you own a property in my market and I get to talk to you, I'm putting you in my database. Or at least I'm asking for it, right? If they say, no, listen, I'm not interested. My brother's a real estate agent. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna do that. But everybody I talk to is gonna end up either selling right now, or I'm gonna get their information. They go into my database.
Can we talk about a little bit of a script of what that sounds like to at the point of entry, I call it, right? So you're on a conversation. What are you saying when someone says, Abe, you know what? I'm not selling right now. I'm not interested right now. How do you turn around and tee up that follow-up? What do you say?
To get the email?
To get the email and to follow up, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to say, hey, Brandon, I really appreciate that. Sounds like you're really enjoying your property, and I can respect that. Look, I've got a bunch of owners that own in your community that I keep updated on a regular basis. So every time a home sells in there, what I do is send them a quick email, lets them know what home sold, how much it sold for, and more importantly, how long it took to sell, because we know the economy changes, the market changes, and it's a good way to keep up with what's going on. So I don't want you to miss out. I'll make sure you get the same information. What's the best email you have?
Boom.
That's it. Plain and simple. I say that to every single person I talk to. Now, on average, I get 25% of the people give me their email address.
Okay, so if you're making 50 contacts, you're getting 2-3 nurtures a day. Real simple.
Yeah. Well, no, out of 50, I'm going to get 13 emails.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm going to get 13 emails going to my database.
That's right.
Out of those 50, I'm going to set 2 appointments, but on top of that, I'm going to get another 10 to 15 people that I'm going to get their email address going to my database. So not only am I fishing for business, if I'm not getting the business, they're going in my database because at some point I want the chance to get them.
Makes a ton of sense. Where a lot of agents that don't prospect are going to go try to get those contacts with Zillow. They're going to go buy the business. Yeah. They're going to wait for the business to come in. You went out there and created it on your own.
Yeah, because most people are prospecting for a deal, right? So I'm prospecting for a deal, okay, but I've got a secondary intention. If that's not going to be a deal now, then I want the information so I can get them down the road. It doesn't take but another 6 seconds. How long did it take me to give that script? They're already on the phone. They've already answered. The hardest part is getting people to answer the phone nowadays. So the damage is already done. Your time is already spent. They're on the phone. They're engaged. You're talking with them. Acknowledge and respect that they don't want to sell because most people don't, right? So I'm cool with that. You don't want to sell? Excellent. Let me at least keep you updated. Let me be your resource. And I get their email address, and that's how you build a business.
And when you first got started to get those 12,000 contacts, were those made up of, cold calling through neighborhoods, absentee owners, expireds, the whole gamut?
Yeah, so my first 6 months in the business, all I did was just sold, just listed.
Got it.
So I got to about 6 months. I started getting into expireds. I did a little FSBO then. By then, I had started to build a database, so I started doing some follow-up in my database. And then over time, it was less and less circle prospecting because I had so many other leads to call or follow up with.
Got it. Now, all right, so now I want to get into the lead follow-up systems. So when I make a prospecting phone call, it's going to end one of 3 ways for me. Either I'm going to, I guess you could call it 4. Either I'm going to set an appointment where I get something on my calendar. The percentage of that is very low, like you just talked about. I'm going to generate a lead, a hot lead. So this is a FSBO or expired or someone who I can set an appointment with in the next week or 2. I'm going to set a nurture. This is what you've been talking about for the last 15 minutes. Or I'm not going to get anything and they're going to hang up on me, cuss me out, or I'm not going to generate a lead. My question for you, Abe, is about numbers 2 and 3. When you generate a hot lead, somebody like an expired where you didn't set the appointment, but you're almost there, can you walk us through first what that follow-up system might look like?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Why would I have not set the appointment? What was the reason?
Maybe the reason is, hey, you know what, Abe, you sound great, but right now, we really we're not meeting with anybody yet. Maybe we'll be potentially meeting with agents here the next couple of weeks.
And this is an expired?
This is an expired, yeah.
Okay, so I want to dig a little bit deeper.
Sure.
I mean, you still want to sell a home, don't you?
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So what kind of time frame are you thinking? You want a couple of weeks off to do a little bit of just kind of step back and rethink?
That's exactly right.
Did you get any offers while you were on the market?
No, not really.
Wow, nothing. Wow, you've been on the market 6 months and not one offer?
No.
What do you think the reason was? I
think the agent.
Okay. Yeah, and in most cases it is. So you don't think it was enough exposure to get the home sold?
Right.
Gotcha. So look, the one thing I'd like to make sure that you know is why your home didn't sell. So I know you might not be ready to put it back on the market right now, and I can appreciate that. And I do think that it should take a little bit of time, give it a little bit of breather. But what I'd like to do is get some research done, okay, of the neighborhood, take a good look at your home again and figure out exactly why it didn't sell. I think marketing is a part of it. And then what I'd like to do is come by and just share that information with you, get a good look at your home so I can go back to my office and actually start cross-referencing with potential buyers that we have. And then at that point, you've got the information, you know why your home didn't sell, and you can be prepared for when you do get ready to sell. Does that sound reasonable?
Sure.
Okay, well, great. Let's do this. Let me come by. I'll come by for 20 minutes. I'm available at 2 o'clock today, or is 4 o'clock better? So I always want to get in there. I don't care whether they want to wait 2 weeks. It's okay. So that's number one. That's what I'm first trying to accomplish.
So let me. So everybody, hopefully you learned a little bit there. We've been talking over the last 3 weeks about staying in the pocket, because the objection I gave Abe was, hey, I just need a couple of weeks. Most agents are hanging up the phone. Okay, great. I'll follow up.
I'll call you in 2 weeks. Yeah.
I'll call you in 2 weeks, and they're off the phone. Abe stays in the pocket and starts asking more questions around motivation uncovers a need and goes for the appointment. Now, I think the question that a lot of people struggle with is, Abe, is when they generate an opportunity like that, they didn't get the appointment. How do we stay in contact? How do we follow up? Are you calling them every day? Are you emailing? Are you stopping by? Are you texting them? What does that look like?
It really depends on the lead. And again, I dig so deep that they pretty much tell me when would be the right time to call them back again. And I'll even ask them sometimes, so look, I'll get you some information. I'll send that over to you. I'll email it. But when do you think would be a good time to follow up?
And they tell you, right?
And they tell me, yeah. So give me 2 weeks. So I cut it in half. I call them in a week.
Got it.
Because people are always going to overestimate, right? Because they're on the defensive. Okay, so you're a salesman, right? So they want to minimize. If they need a week, they'll tell you 2 weeks. If they need a month, they'll tell you 2 months. So I always cut it in half and reach back out to them in half that time.
Got it. Typically do. Now, the nurture that says, yeah, I'd love for you to stay in touch with me. What does that system look like?
So as soon as I get an email, automatically I drop the information over to my VA, one of my VAs. And what they do is they go into my CRM, look up everything that they could possibly look up on that lead, dump it into my CRM. So what I mean by that is I want to know what they paid for it. I want their tax map number for the property. They put that in my CRM. I want to know if it's been on the market. They'll put notes in there when it's been on the market. They'll put the right number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and things like that. They'll put all of that in my CRM for me, okay? And then again, depending on what I feel like the time frame for that lead is going to be, that's where I'll determine when the next follow-up call will be. And I'll make a note when I send this over to my VA, okay, put this guy in a 14-day column. So she's going to put him in a 14-day column. Come day 14, when I log into my CRM, there's that person, I call them.
Now, what CRM are you using?
I use Pipedrive.
Pipedrive, got it. And so that's your CRM. And are you using a paper system at all with your follow up, or is it all being
I'm all paperless. I've been paperless for about 2 years.
Good for you. Yeah.
Everything's iPad or computer. It's all paperless.
I'm totally the opposite. So me and your boy Kevin Mills, we just got our big follow-up folders, and that's all that I use.
Yeah. Even listing paperwork, I don't go into a listing appointment with any paperwork. It's all on my iPad.
Yeah, got it. Okay, makes sense. So you're going to touch base with the lead in whatever time frame, however the call ends up. And so over time, you talked about some email drips or staying in communication with people month after month, year after year. What exactly are you doing to stay in communication with those 7,000 people?
Yeah, so part of that process, like I said, my VA puts them in my CRM. She'll also do a couple of other steps. She'll put them into Real Geeks for me. Okay, and then in Real Geeks, what she'll do is do what's called a saved search. So say, Brandon, you own a home in Prestwick. She's going to go into your profile inside of Real Geeks. She's going to look up Prestwick, and then she's going to hit home sold, then she's going to hit save. So now what's going to happen is every time a home in Prestwick sells, Real Geeks shoots you a notification.
It's like a market report.
I'm sorry?
It's like a market report.
Yeah, you're going to get a notification of everything that's sold because that's what I promised you I would do. That's why you gave me your email.
That's right.
And then the first of every single month, you get a market report as well of everything that's sold for the entire month in Real Geeks. Right, so that's one thing she's going to do. The next thing she's going to do is also put you into another drip system called, and I'm not suggesting that you need all these different systems. This is just what I use. She's going to put you into Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is a long-term email nurture type program. And then from there, we've got some campaigns that just reach out to people from time to time. And then what I'm looking for every single morning is who's raising their hand. So I might have 2 people raise their hand in Real Geeks. I might have 1 person raise their hand in Infusionsoft. I might have 3 people that call me because they're referrals. So all of that's who I'm calling the next day. I'm looking for people that raise their hand that there's some interest in, and that's who I'm hammering the next day. And then finally, the last thing is called Homebot. So Homebot, she'll also put them into Homebot, and Homebot is a pretty cool service where it also sends you a market valuation of what your home is worth, but then it'll also has all kinds of other information. Like it knows what your interest rate is. So it'll tell you, hey, this is the time to refinance, or this may be the time to refinance. This is how much equity you have in your home. So this is going out to them on a regular basis, and every single Monday I get a report of who's actually clicking on those emails and opening them up. So then I'm calling those people. So again, I set all these different tripwires Okay, so someone trips over it. To me, that's a hand raise. That's a reason to call somebody. And between the different systems, that I get plenty of those where I always have people to reach out to.
Got it. That makes a ton of sense. Okay, good. And I know you guys got a lot of questions. I'm going to get to them here in just a minute. Now, I want to talk about, Abe, what I call the black hole. And the black hole is all these for sale by owners, expireds, for rent by owners, Z buyers. All these leads are coming into an agent's daily prospecting funnel, if you will, okay? And we're only getting a hold of a very small percentage of those. And most agents, Abe, are only calling them once or twice. So we're leaving so much meat on the bone, because what we should be doing is contacting these people 2, 3, 4 times per day until contact is made. Is there a technology that you're using that can help you follow up with what I call the black hole, or these leads that are not being touched the way they should be?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So I use Contact Junkie. Contact Junkie is a software that I actually had built. I hired some developers, had it built out. The whole point of building it was for my personal use, because I wanted an edge over the guys in my office. I wanted the edge over the competition. The system got so good that we actually started, we sell it to other agents to use as a monthly subscription. So, but let me back up a second and talk about the black hole that you mentioned. So, and because that's one of the things that's not talked enough about in our industry. Most people talk about your conversion. Okay, you talk to 50 people and you convert 2% or 3% or whatever. The biggest thing that agents are missing is their lead to contact ratio, not the lead to contract ratio, right? So it's easy to track. Okay, well, I talked to 10 people, got one deal, 10%. But what we don't talk about is when we get leads, less than 15% of new leads are ever reached. So think about that. 85%, that's the black hole you're talking about. These are people that are never reached. There's just so much opportunity and so much money there that no one ever talks to. And then who loves this? The lead suppliers in our industry. The Zillows of the world, the Homebot, because they get to sell leads over and over and over. They'll sell it to 10 different agents because no one's reaching them. No one's converting them. So they make money over and over. So the reason that people aren't picking up is not because they're not interested in buying or selling, not because they don't like you or not interested in working with you. It's because we're all busy nowadays. Okay, we're all of us, every one of us. People call me, like my phone will ring. If I don't know the number, I don't pick it up.
Right.
Voicemail. All right. So there are so many distractions nowadays. The phone ringing is just noise to us. It's like another Facebook notification or Instagram notification or a text. There's just so much noise out there that it's all static to us. So if people don't recognize the phone number, they are not going to pick up. Okay, so what's the solution? The solution is that you, as you said, it takes multiple attempts to get someone's attention. You got to get their attention. Okay, how do you get people's attention? Quantity of calls, the number of calls you're going to make, but more importantly is the frequency of calls. So you said the number 5. Okay, you should call them 5 times a day. That's a good number. So here's a technique for you guys that works wonders. Okay, so less than 15% of the people are going to pick up the phone when you call them the first time. So what you're going to do is use a double dial, a DDT, double dial text technique. Okay, so I call you, Brendan, you don't pick up, I hang up, I'm not leaving a message. Picking the phone right back up and dialing you a second time. How many times have you had someone call you 2 times in a row? Does that pique your interest?
Absolutely.
Whether you know the number or not, there's a little bit of curiosity, like, okay, is there an emergency? Right? So you go from 15% reach, now you're up to 25% reach. If they don't pick up that second time, you leave a voicemail message. Follow it up with a text. That text will get you again from 25% to maybe 30, 35%. So now you just double the number of people you talk to just by that simple technique. So even if your skills never improve, you double the number of people you talk to, you're going to double your deals. Simple math, right? Now, above and beyond that, if someone didn't reply to you, we're up to 35%. If someone didn't reply to you, you wait about an hour, hour and a half, and you call them again. So now you've got 2 calls, 1 text, and another call. So 3 calls and a text. Now you've bumped it up another 10% response rate. So you're up to 45%. No answer, you wait another 2 hours and you call them again. So now we're up to your number of 5. My number is 7. Like if I want to reach you, I'm hitting you 7 times in one day, and I reach between 60 and 85% of the people I want to talk to.
I mean, that is, Yeah, let me just real quick, because I think we're going to get into a system, because a lot of agents that are hearing you say that right now is like, well, how in the world do you keep track of all this? And I think that hopefully we're going to talk a little bit more about Contact Junkie, and you can share your screen and walk you through how to do that. But let me just share with you guys something. I've been really, really focused on, with my coach, on making my afternoon schedule as tight as my morning schedule. And I'll tell you what has happened. I was notorious for really probably 10 years in the beginning of my career for making 1, 2, 3 attempts in the morning, and that was it. What I would tell you guys is that as I've upped those attempts in the afternoons and the early evenings, my contact percentage it's been unbelievable. Most of my appointments that I set, my listing appointments, is from that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th attempt. Now, imagine a world. There's a piece of technology that can serve all of this to you automatically. And I believe, Abe, that's what Contact Junkie can help us do. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And again, I didn't come on here. I'm not here to pitch Contact Junkie. I'm here to give you some information. So if you're an agent that doesn't have a big database, that you only have a handful of people, you can do this manually. Just call them 7 times on that day, and then you're going to reach everybody, right? But I've got 7,000 people in my database. There's no way possible I'm going to be able to recall everybody 7 times a day and be able to reach people. So I have to turn to automation. Okay, and that's what Contact Junkie steps in. So I personally don't make more than that double dial. I don't even do the text technique. I just do double dial. Okay, if I don't reach you in that double dial, you're going into a campaign. You're going into automation, and then Contact Junkie is going to take over at that point. And depending on what kind of lead source it is, it's going to hit you anywhere from 3 to as much as 7 more times that day.
And when you say hit, what is it doing actually? What does Contact Junkie
do? It does a couple of different things. You could do text messaging. You could do a voicemail drop into their cell phone. You could do an email, or you could do a video email if you subscribe to BombBomb. You can integrate BombBomb video email into it. So 4 different mediums. And that's another thing that gets your lead to contact ratio up, is hitting them with multiple channels, hitting them with different mediums. Right? Some people just don't like picking up the phone. So no matter what you do, they're just not going to answer. Some people prefer text. Some people hate texting. Some people prefer email. Right? So you've got to hit them from multiple channels, from different angles between the 4 different mediums. We hit them, and then we get much better response rates.
So Contact Junkie, you set it up front, a campaign, like a for sale by owner voicemail campaign, for sale by owner text campaign, email campaign, video campaign. And Contact Junkie, essentially, when you hit a button, it will communicate with that for sale by owner automatically over the course of 3, 4, 5 days or 5 weeks, however long you want to set it up. Is that right?
That's correct. So you build that campaign out one time, right? For FSBO, I've got a FSBO campaign. Expired, I've got an expired campaign. I even have campaigns to get price reductions. I have campaigns to, like, I'll send an email to somebody and say, look, or I'll leave them a voicemail and say, been looking at your home, it hasn't sold yet, everything else has been selling, I think we should reduce it to X, whatever. At that point, I'll kick off a Contact Junkie campaign where it'll follow up with a text about 2 hours later and ask them if they got the email or the voicemail, then another email, then another text. So instead of me having to chase after somebody, instead of them calling me back, I try to let automation take over. So I've got stuff for, like, if I'm talking to you, Brandon, and you were a hot lead, you tell me call you Monday because you got to talk it over with the wife. Then come Monday, you disappeared on me. Okay, I'm putting you into a campaign that's going to hit you with 5 messages that day to reach out to you. So it depends on a campaign and what kind of lead source it is. And you build that campaign one time, you put somebody into that campaign, the system will take over and keep messaging people based on what your messages are in that campaign until one of 2 things happen. Either they respond to you, which most people will. At that point, you get a notification, you take over manually, the campaign stops for that person, or the campaign just runs out of messages. And that's going to happen with some people where they just, no matter what you do, they're just not replying.
Got it.
But that frees you up. Now, automation is actually doing all the prospecting, all the reaching out, all the follow-up for you, and you can move on to the next lead. You're not sitting here wasting time hearing the phone ring and no one's picking up on the other end.
So maybe what we can do, Abe, on another call in the future, maybe is do just a quick demo, just so the agents can see how that works. I'm not sure. There's a ton of questions coming in I want to get to.
It's up to you. I mean, whatever you want to hit questions, or we could do demo. I'm good either way. Whatever is going to help everybody on this call the most.
All right, I'm going to get through some questions, and then we'll figure out kind of our next steps. How many active listings do you have right now personally?
59.
59 active listings personally. This is why, we're talking about all these things, you guys, is if you want to succeed in a big way, he's holding more active listings than most of us will take all year. And so 59, and then how many usually go pending every month?
That's actually a low number, Brendan. Right now, this year has been a challenge, and it's just because stuff is selling so quickly. So it's been tough. I'm typically around 80 is what my inventory typically is.
80 active listings.
80 active is what my number is typically. So right now, between sellers and buyers, we have 30 pending right now.
Got it.
Out of those, I think 20 are sellers, and then 10 are buyers.
Got it. In your follow-up campaign, I'm gonna rapid fire as many questions as I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you doing any direct mail right now in your business?
No. I dabble in postcards here and there, but I'm not doing anything right now.
Got it. And then what does your week look like? As far as when you were building the business, number of contacts, appointments met, things of that nature, listings taken. What does an average week or a month look like for you from an activity standpoint?
You talk about right now or when I was building a business?
When you were building it up.
My first year?
Yeah, first year or two.
So my first year, I had no clients. So I'd come in, prospect 8 to 11, go out and get some lunch, come back, prospect 2 more hours, go take another break and come back and prospect 2 more hours. So I was pretty much prospecting all day, 5 days a week. I'd call on evenings because evenings are huge in getting people to respond to the phone. That's the best time. Like if you're not going to prospect at all and just want to do 2 hours, do 4 to 6 or 5 to 7. You're going to get most people pick up the phone. But that's a tough time to commit to and do every single day because there's so many distractions. That's what most people do the mornings. Things come up.
So as you were building your business, you were doing 2 hours, taking a break, 2 hours, doing a break. And how many were you doing, 6 hours of calling a day?
Yeah, somewhere in that range. I was doing about 60 contacts a day. And then, but that was when I had nothing going on. Now, all of a sudden I set an appointment that takes away from prospecting, right? I set 2 appointments. Before you know it, I've got clients, I've got appointments. I can't do it all day long. So what the foundation is 8 to 11, Monday through Friday, period. I still do that now. We do that religiously. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Hold on. Let me pause. Did you guys just hear what he said? This man has 59 active listings. 59. 30 pendings. And Joe Bennett, he's prospecting from 8 until 11, Monday through Friday. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Most of us, Abe, have 1 listing and 1 pending, and we can't prospect that long because we got too much going on. Yeah. Tell us how in God's name are you able to prospect 8 to 11 with 90 clients you're managing? I mean, most of these people, let's be honest, most people won't sell 90 houses in 10 years. You're managing that right now. That's the truth. So how are you able to do that?
Again, it comes down to how bad do you want it? It's really that simple. How bad do you want it? So if you want to be successful in this business, okay, you don't make money off the service, right? The service is selling homes. We don't make money off the service. We make money off of selling the service. So we make the money off of selling ourselves, right? 8 to 11 goes in my schedule before, well, that's not the first thing. The first thing that goes in my schedule is fun time. Like, okay, I schedule my vacations. I schedule my runs. I do a lot of running. That goes into my schedule first. Secondly, whenever I'm not doing that stuff, the next thing that's in my schedule is my 8 to 11 that never, ever, ever changes. What that means is, Brandon, if you call me right now and say, Abe, I want to list my home. I need you to come to my home tomorrow at 9 o'clock. My answer is no. Look, I've got a couple of office meetings at 9 a.m. I can meet you at 11:15. Can you do that? Okay, 95% of the people will say yes. 5% are going to say no, and I'm going to lose some deals. Okay, but I'm okay with losing that deal here and there because I'm not going to allow someone to sabotage what my moneymaker is. That 8 to 11 is my generating. That's where my money, that's where my income, that's what gives me the flexibility to go out and travel and run and do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do. So I'm not going to allow anybody to disrupt that. Okay. What most agents will do, if you call them and say, hey, can you come to my house at 9 o'clock? They say, oh yeah, sure. I'll be right there. Right. And so, yes, you go there and you may or may not get the listing. You do that a second time. Before you know it, you've disintegrated the mindset of how important that generating time is. And to me, that's the most important thing. If you really want this, okay, and really want it, that has to be the most important part of your day. That never, ever wavers.
Now, how would you coach an agent, Abe, that is saying, Abe, I'm doing that, I'm just not getting any results? Because they don't understand, Abe, that what you understand and what some of us understand is that it takes 90 days, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to really get into momentum phase. So an agent that's not in momentum phase, how do you coach an agent that's doing that but not getting any appointments and not getting any listings and saying this shit doesn't work?
Well, so, I mean, it depends on expectations. Like, so what are you expecting? You expect to start the business today and get on the phone and actually get some listings? I mean, it's not going to happen. So your expectations, what are your goals? If you're a brand new agent, your goal is just make the contacts, period. So number one, make sure you're not inefficient with your time. That means that you don't call somebody and they say no and you hang up the phone, then you check your phone on Facebook and then 2 minutes go by, then you dial another number. I'm talking about like robotic. I'm talking about click, dial the next number, click, dial the next number. That's the first thing. Second thing is having more than one intention. Of course, the first intention is actually see if they're interested in doing business now, but if not, monetize that no, put them in your database. So when you start doing things like that, it doesn't feel like you're wasting time. It doesn't feel like that there's no results. The results are there. I'm building a database, right? So no matter what your skills are, go out and make 100 contacts tomorrow. You're going to get a listing.
Got it.
Period. No matter, I mean, 1%. If your skills are none, you're a brand new agent. You can stand in front of Walmart and as people walk by you and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. You want to sell your home? You talk to 100 people or so, somebody's going to say yes. It's just a numbers game. So know that and have some expectations, have the right expectations. And then of course, over time, your skills are going to get better. So now you talk to 100 people, you get 2 listings. You talk to 100 people, you get 4 listings. You get to be one of the top agents, you talk to 6 people, you get a listing.
Yep.
Right? But again, it's what your expectations are and what your definition of a waste of time or no progress is. To me, building a database is progress. Yes, you're not going to see money up front. The checks aren't going to start rolling in from day one in a business. If that's what your expectations, then whoever's guiding you is not telling you the real deal. Right? Know what you're getting into.
Yeah, I love it. Now, a lot of agents are that lately in my group here are saying, "Hey, I'm calling for 3 hours, but I'm only having 10 or 15 conversations." At which I always respond with, "How focused, to your point, are those 3 hours? Are you using a dialer? What is your focus like? Your discipline in those 3 hours that allows you to have so many conversations?"
Yeah, so you got to look at it as listings per minute that you spend on the phone, right? If you're calling for 3 hours and making 15 contacts, then you better have had some really good conversations with those 15 people.
Mm.
So that's okay to have only 15 contacts if 8 of them were actually really good conversations and 3 of them are appointments, right? So it depends on what the conversations consist of. My first 3 months, dude, I could make 60 contacts in an hour and a half. You know why? Because people were hanging up at me at hello. You know, like I couldn't get past the introduction. I was so bad. Right? So it's not always about how many contacts you make. It also depends on what the quality of the contacts are. So
how much money are you spending on your website, Facebook ads, social media ads, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com right now?
The only thing I actually just stopped, the only thing I started doing was spending pay-per-click for buyer leads. I did that for 2 months and I overwhelmed my buyer's agents, so I stopped it. So right now I'm in the process of bringing on 2 more buyer's agents and then I'll pick that back up. But that's all I'll spend money on as far as business generating. I do have some referral services that I use, like a Home Light, and I'll pay them a referral fee for leads, but I'm not buying leads for anything else. It's all self-generating.
Got it. And I do the same thing, you guys. Google pay-per-click for buyers, agents. But on the listing business, the 100 deals you're going to close this year, you didn't buy any of those. Those are all just you picking up the phone and talking to a human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So again, from time to time, I'll do a mailer, a postcard here and there. But it's not something I'm doing on a regular basis. The majority is going to be calling, right?
Love it.
And that doesn't work for everybody. Some people just, no matter what you do, they are not going to pick up the phone and call. You can get business other ways. You can get business through mailers. You can get business through billboards, right? But what I learned early on is my return on investment on those is so low. It kills my profit. Okay, so yes, it hurts to sit there and make 60 contacts, but it hurts me a whole lot more to spend $2,000 on a billboard this month to get a listing.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to decide, what do you want? Do you want the pain of getting rejection on the phone? Or do you want the pain of not making money? The pain is going to be there, period.
Here's a great question, Abe. You're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm jealous. If we plucked you out of there and we brought you up to Detroit and we said, all right, buddy, start all over again. Everybody wants to know this question. You started all over again. You don't know anybody. Nobody knows Abe Safa. You have no 7,000 person database. Mm-hmm. What are the sources and what would be the strategy to start all over again?
The strategy would be exactly the same way.
You would start
off with simple prospecting.
Prospecting, cold calling, FSBOs, expired. What sources or numbers would you go after?
So having the experience that I have right now, or if I was a brand new agent? If
you were a brand new agent.
Yeah, circle prospecting. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. I would do that for the first 6 months and do a ton of it. Get on Mojo Dial or Triple Dial and make 60 to 75 contacts per day. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts every single day.
Love it.
The ones that say yes, close the deals. The ones that say no, put them in a database. Year 2, now you don't have to make 70 contacts a day. You can go down to 30 contacts a day. Year 3, you're making 15 contacts a day. After 5, 6 years, you can actually just sit at home or sit on the beach and you're going to get 40 deals by doing nothing.
How many contacts are you making right now in your 5th year?
Crap. It's low this year. It's about 15. And again, you and I talked about it the other day. I've got a lot of other things I'm working on right now.
Sure.
But I'm still I'm still going to do my 140 deals. I'm not going to allow that to get away. So I have the flexibility of making only 15 contacts a day and doing that. But if I was still doing my 40, 50 contacts a day, I could do over 200 deals.
Love it. I love it. Couple more questions.
It's a numbers game. Plain and simple. Yeah.
It is really simple. Because you're what personality style are you? Are you analytical? Highly analytical. If you guys didn't notice, okay, shocker, real monotone. How is it a guy like you, right, with the monotone? It's just a numbers game, right? You don't have to be this super outgoing, good-looking guy like me. You can look like you and still succeed in this business. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm totally kidding.
It's a numbers game. And that's the one thing I learned early on, because I looked at some of the people that were more outgoing and more like the standout in the crowd. Man, that's the kind of person that would be good in this business. And no, it doesn't matter. Because the people you're talking to I relate really well with analyticals. I close those deals with my eyes closed, right? And then the other ones I've learned to adapt. I've learned to ramp it up a little bit. So my excitement level is like a flat line. This is right. Me. I'm excited right now. This is me having fun.
This is Abe, the most excited I've ever seen him in 5 years. Just so you guys know.
But don't let that be an issue. It all depends on how you come across to people. I can close a deal better than anybody else out there in this market. I don't care what their personality style is.
Yeah.
So what I lack in enthusiasm and personality, I make up in knowledge
and consistency. I would say. Dude, you are
as well, yeah.
So consistent. All right, couple last things, and I know you got to wrap up. People want to hear an expired role play on what you're saying to get these people to set an appointment with you.
Okay.
So I'll be the expired, and I want to get through the script so people can kind of hear what you're saying. So let's go ahead and just do a quick role play. You good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hey, Brendan. This is Abe Safa with Century 21 Harrelson Group here at the beach. How are you this morning?
Doing good, Abe.
Excellent. Hey, look, I know you're probably getting a million phone calls already. Just wanted to reach out to you real quick. I noticed your home just came off the market. I was actually a little bit surprised because everything else around there has sold. What's going on with that? You still looking to get that sold?
Oh, obviously we're getting a lot of phone calls. We're pretty frustrated. I don't know. We might be taking a break from the market.
Okay. All right. Can I pause?
Sure.
First, okay. You notice he was like, oh, like I'm looking for stuff like that. I'm not just looking at the actual words, right? So he actually expressed what an expires feels like. They're frustrated, right? So you want to sense that and you want to acknowledge that they're frustrated and have a little bit of empathy. So yeah, I get that. That's tough right now. It's tough to have your home out there for a while and not get it sold. Just curious, did you get any offers while you were out there at all?
No, nothing. Not one.
Wow. Wow, not one offer.
Nope.
Yeah, how many showings did you have, you think?
Seems like we had quite a bit over the past couple of months, but it kind of died off here at the end.
Okay, so you had some activity on early on, which is pretty normal. When something hits the market, there's a lot of excitement and buyers usually flock to it, but then all of a sudden it just fizzled away.
That's right.
Gotcha. Did your agent give you any input as to why that happened?
That's the problem, Abe. Nothing. We got no feedback.
Gotcha. That's typically the problem. Let me ask you this: what was the plan if you would have sold? Where are you moving to?
We're getting the hell out of Myrtle Beach. We're going down. We're going down to Florida.
I don't blame you. What part of Florida?
We're thinking like Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so here I'm going to pause again. So the frustration went away. He's engaging me now. We're having a conversation. So now I'm looking for motivation. So he's going to Florida. What's down in Florida?
That's where we're from originally. I had come up to Myrtle Beach for a job, and they're transferring me back, and so now we got to get this condo sold and get down there.
Gotcha. Yeah, how soon you need to be back down there?
We're supposed to be down. We're supposed to be down there right now.
Oh wow. Okay. Did you find a place down there already?
Close, but we kind of pulled out since this property hasn't sold yet.
Wow. So you actually made an offer on something and had to back out.
That's right.
That's painful. Okay. So it sounds like you still want to sell and you want to get it sold as quickly as possible. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, we do. Okay. But Abe, I got to tell you, we've just got a ton of people calling. It's super overwhelming. We're super frustrated right now.
No, I bet I could feel the frustration. And that's especially right now in this market, everything else, all your neighbors have sold. So I'd be thinking to myself, why is my home not selling? Especially in you got to get down to Florida. Gotcha. Yeah. So let me ask you this: as far as the price, how'd you guys choose that price?
We just kind of went with the agent's recommendation at this point.
Okay, so I'm going to pause. I've already found the motivation. He's got to move. He's got to get down there. So I'm not going to buy any BS that he tells me we're going to wait. He can't wait. All right, so I've already figured that out. Now I want to know if he's flexible on the price, because we all know if something doesn't sell, it's usually the price. Okay, so yeah, so the agent recommended that price. Gotcha. Is that a firm number? Do you have any wiggle room in that number?
Sure. At this point, we got to get it sold.
Got to get it sold. And I'm assuming you have to have this sold to buy something down there.
That's right.
And you obviously got to get down there to work this job. Are you still carrying a mortgage on the home, or is it paid for?
No, we've got a mortgage.
Okay. What do you have to cover?
We got to, I think, do we have to go through that right this second?
Yeah. So one of the things, it's frustrating on your part that you didn't get it sold. I'm trying to gather all the information. So most likely it's going to be a marketing issue, but it can also be price. So I want to make sure that before you put it back on the market and waste some more time at a price that's not reasonable, or a price that you can't physically do or financially do, then I need to know if I'm going to be able to help you. And that's the reason. I can, it's not that I'm trying to be nosy.
Yeah. We got it. We owe about just over 200.
Perfect. So you got some equity in the home. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, look, let's do this. You want to sell. I've sold homes in that area. We've got plenty of buyers that are working in that area. I'm going to do a little bit of research and try to figure out exactly why your home didn't sell. I'm also going to take a hard look at that price, because I know when it comes to moving, every single dollar counts, and I want to make sure we maximize your sales price. And once I do that, I'd like to come over, look at your home, share this information with you, and then I'm going to show you a strategy of exactly what it's going to take to get that home sold. Does that sound fair?
Fair enough.
Okay, great. Are you available at 2 o'clock today, or is 4 o'clock better?
Good job. So you guys, just confident. He knows the script inside and out. Last 2 questions. Certainly you're selling a lot of homes. You must be just discounting your commission left and right to get all those deals. Am I right?
No. I'm not going to lie to you and say I never discount. There's going to be occasions where I do, but no, I'm not going to, the same way I wouldn't ask someone to underprice their home, I'm not going to underprice my services.
What percentage of your deals will you get a 6% versus a 5%, and what's the lowest you'll be willing to go?
95% of my deals, I don't, this is not an exact number I'm estimating. I'd say 95% of my deals are 6%.
There's his analytical. 95.66247% are, okay, so about 95%.
And that's a guess.
Yeah, 95% are 6%, 5% are at 5%.
Yeah, I have taken some of 4.5%, maybe 1 or 2, and they're usually relatives. They're very close friends.
Got it. And then what is your belief, right or wrong, good or bad, on pre-qualifying before going out on an appointment?
I ask a ton of questions to everybody I talk to. So I pre-qualify before appointments. I pre-qualify in everything. Even that expired, I want to know how much you owe. Yeah. Before I go into your house, if you want $300,000, I want to know if you owe $299.
Yeah.
I want to know that if at the closing table, you're going to bring money to the table. I mean, these are the kind of things that I need to know. So I'm always looking for information like that. So yes, I pre-qualify everything.
Awesome. And then are you on a dialer making all these contacts, or you hand dialing?
No, if I'm circle prospecting, which I don't do as much anymore, I'm on a dialer. But 95% of the time, I'm double dialing with 2 headsets.
Hand dialing?
Yeah, hand dialing with 2 headsets, 2 phones.
Love it, the old school way.
Yeah,
well, very good, Abe. This has been great. I think we could probably sit here and pummel you with questions for 6.5 hours, which I know you don't have time because you got 59 listings to go sell. So I think what we're going to do, Abe, is I'll get some feedback from the group. There's a lot of systems, a lot of things you threw out there. I'm getting a ton of questions on how does Contact Junkie work. And I think Abe, if you're okay with it, maybe we could do another 15, 20-minute call in the next couple of weeks and give them some demo of how it works so that they can learn how it works if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we set up a time, and anybody who's interested in seeing, I can show you how I use it and how top agents around the country are using it. Because we have to leverage our time. Okay, yeah. And the only way to do it is either hire a bunch of more agents or staff, ISAs, which are costly, or use automation. Yeah,
that's great. And so Joe Bennett, I think about what he just said. Instead of hiring an ISA at $1,500 a month, what is Contact Junkie? $100 a month or something?
Yeah, it depends on how much you use. It's based on credits. Most agents use the $199 plan. I've got agents doing 10,000 messages a month. But most people can get away with $199 plan.
So it's almost like an automated ISA, essentially, is what it is.
That's exactly what it is. It's in my opinion, it's better than ISA, right? Because an ISA, you've got the human element. You've got the days where they don't feel good. You've got the days where I just don't feel like having another question. They got the days where they give up much easier. Automation, it's consistent, dude. Every single time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
It's great. You guys, this call is going to be recorded. We'll post it back in the Facebook group. You guys will have it by tomorrow. And make sure you go watch this over and over again. And I think we've got some more exciting guests coming for you guys very, very soon. I think we've got Kevin Mills, Abe, from your office coming to talk to this group next week. So that'll be a good one. Kevin Mills is on track. He'll do 240 sales, trumping his brother Abe. No, you guys have a great team down there. And so really, really want to thank you for your time, Abe. We can't thank you enough.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hopefully I helped everybody out. Now, the Kevin Mills, on a note, that's going to be a completely different personality.
Yeah. That's great. Everyone give Abe a round of applause. Take it off mute and give him a round of applause. There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Abe. Have a great week.
Yeah, best of luck to everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.